Welcome to Drawing in the Dark. My name is Levi Smith, and I'm going to be trying something a little bit different. I'm doing a little bit of a voiceover over my drawing here, and I don't know how it's going to work out, but we'll see how it goes. Alright, so yeah, this one here for episode 1, I suppose this is, of this particular attempt. I'm going to be drawing Sentinel. Just kind of work out like a little bit of an upper body thing. And just work on some construction. All I'm using here, this isn't my Illo sketch pad. I'm just using a ballpoint pen, so there's no erasing or anything. So a lot of these early stages are really about just like laying out the composition, where things are going to go, working up these basic shapes and stuff, identifying things out in the most general terms before really getting into like rendering, detailing, all that stuff. So one of the things that I do like to do is add in a bit of detail as I go, just some signature stuff that kind of helps form in my head really what I'm going for. Key details, iconic elements, stuff like that. So I'm actually recording this after I drew all of this out, so I kind of know where it's going and stuff, which is kind of interesting and nice. One of the things that makes it a little bit tricky drawing one of these live with like no plan, because I didn't start this with any kind of particular plan. I just went. And I did end up pulling up some reference in between some of the takes, because I did this. It took me about an hour and a half. It's all sped up and condensed down to about, 15 minutes. After my first go, and I was really like, okay, I'm going to do a Sentinel, I decided to pull up some reference and kind of look at that, just so I could start getting some of the key details properly. One of the things that, when I'm watching people draw like fan art kind of stuff, like corporate IP and whatnot, is when they get like the certain details that people kind of get wrong, that just kind of show that they don't really understand or appreciate the material, at least not to a point that I feel that I do. I'm a big X-Men fan. I've been loving X-Men 97. And I just wanted to make sure to get these details out. And I think that's kind of where these Sentinels have come from. Has been, I've been keeping up with the X-Men 97 episodes as they've been coming out, and man, it's been cool. I've been really impressed. I mean, what a way to take an old Gen Xer back, to those after school X-Men episodes. And man, when I was in high school, I graduated in 1996, and I was in high school watching X-Men, and a bunch of us were. I mean, there was a lot of kids at school that weren't into comics that got into the X-Men cartoon, and it really was an entry point for that kind of stuff, because none of those people got into comic books really afterwards. I mean, maybe some of them did, but for the most part, no. And so, that entry point and seeing the animation and stuff, really, I think that X-Men 97 is going to bring, some more people in. It's definitely been good for Marvel, and man, they've just been doing a great job. It's as serious as it needs to be. It's got those levels of like soap opera drama. A buddy of mine and I would talk about, we're big X-Men comic fans. We would talk so much about like one of the best formats to do an X-Men show would be just like a classic soap opera kind of thing, and even like dialing back the special effects and everything and the powers, maybe a little bit of demonstration here and there and stuff, but for the most part, the interpersonal human drama of the X-Men, and all their subsequent, side characters and stuff. I mean, it really is just like classic soap opera, evil twins, people being kidnapped, babies being sent to the future and coming back as, time-traveling mercenaries. I mean, it's great stuff, I mean, and that, for me, as far as, like, comic books go and stuff, really, that's what I want. I don't want them to be gritty, or not gritty, but grounded. I don't want them to be grounded in realism too much. There has to be a certain level of that, but really it's the absurd, it's the weird, it's the ridiculous that really is, that comic book superhero kind of. I mean, comic books are a medium, superheroes are a genre, but that kind of format, that's what I want out of it, really subtle, human, there's a lot of stuff that works better in other mediums. Where in comic books and in superheroes, it should be outlandish, it should be over the top, it should be strange. To a large degree, it's pretty much science fiction, and as that, it should play with that, and the hero fantasy, the power fantasy, the male power fantasy, as it were, but that's kind of evolving and expanding and stuff, and I think that's great, power fantasies should be available to everybody, we're drawn, and this piece came along. It wasn't super duper easy. It took me about an hour and a half trying to draw it quickly, not trying to be precious about it, not trying to be perfectionist about it, just trying to get things worked out in a really interesting way. One of the things, as I was working with this, is that, just the one sentinel standing in the middle, perfectly centered and whatnot, is pretty boring, pretty static. Generally just really meh. So, I decided to use a little bit of a perspective trick, and that's running, a line through the piece with an object or a figure. It works a lot easier with an object in particular. So you pick in the figure, you pick a point of focus, and what I did is I did basically like the eye line, the top of the eye line, and that's where you put your horizon line. And then from there, all the other figures, as long as you're assuming that they're of the same height and size, and Sentinel robots are a perfect example of this, then you put, no matter how small you want to, how far you want to put them in the distance and how small you want to draw them, you basically hang the figure from that perspective line, that horizon line, off the same point as that first figure. So my front center figure, I've got it lined up with his eyes. All the other figures, then their eyes have to go through that horizon line. And then what that does is that naturally puts them into the distance and kind of builds a perspective scene for them. And then doing that, for me at least, makes this piece so much more interesting, so much more dynamic. Puts some interest to it. It starts to, with the other Sentinels in it, then it starts to tell a story. Then it starts to show you, okay, there's a bunch of these robots. So then you start having questions like, well, why are there so many? Where are they? What are they doing? What are they going to do? What have they done? And then that's where you start to imply that concept of the visual storytelling. And it's not just always explaining to people what happens, but if you can inspire a question, then they're way more interested, because then they want to know the answer to that question. They want to solve the riddle. And so if you get your audience to ask themselves, in a curious way, what happened here? What are they doing? Why is that? Why is this going on? That can be really powerful. So I'm going to shut up here for just a little bit, and we'll just let the drawing kind of take over. I'm hoping I actually found some good background music for this as well. It's got to be copyright free and all that stuff, so hopefully it works out. But yeah, here we go. We're just going to do a little bit of silent mode and watch some drawing. you know, that power of question, of curiosity, you know, can do a lot, you know, and putting that into your drawing, and an easy way to put that into your own drawings is to start asking yourself those questions as you draw, as you compose it, as you put that piece together. Ask yourself, what's going on here? What have they done? What are they doing? You know, that should be something that should be identifiable. Is what is your figure? What are your characters doing? Are they running, jumping, falling, laughing, standing, posing, dodging, ducking, sitting? Because all of that is just, you know, those are the first pieces towards visual storytelling. And yeah, so I think that might be about it for me on this. I'm hoping that this all works out, that this audio is at all usable. I mean, I'm recording this outside in the middle of the night. There's a slight breeze, and it's cold out here in Montana. Yeah, so my name's Levi Smith. I've got a Patreon, patreon.com/mopandbucket. Check us out, Jade Monkey Studio. I'm on the socials, Levi Smith Art. And hopefully I do another one of these. And we'll see how all that goes. All right? Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.